To start off with, we are going to introduce ourselves so that you know who you are seeing on the screen. You can see there are three of us that have the same background, so that you can tell that we are all from MPA Day and we are representing the initiative. My name is Katja Langi, and I am one of the European coordinators, as well as on the core committee for kind of the international strategic planning of MPA Day. I'm based in Finland, in Helsinki, and I work for the Baltic Marine Environment Protection Commission, also known as HELCOM. And I specifically also work for a project called Protect Baltic, which is all about MPAs, and this is where the link to MPA Day was established. But over to you, Paul.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paul Troth. I am also a European coordinator for MPA Day, and I am also based at the Baltic Marine Environment Protection Commission, HELCOM, in Helsinki, Finland. I've been involved in MPA Day for the last 3 years, mostly dealing with the communications side of things. And it's a pleasure to see so many new faces and also some familiar ones here. So, Anton, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Katja. Hello, everyone. My name is Anton. I recently joined the MPA Day Core Committee for Europe at the beginning of this year as a youth and ECOP representative. Trying to facilitate more involvement of youth as well as early career ocean professionals and early career researchers for the MPA Day. So yeah, excited for this little info webinar today. Seeing a few faces here, Guillaume, hi, Lolita as well. So yeah, over to you, Katja, I think, right?
Yes, great. Okay, so we're going to do a little presentation for you so that you know a bit of background on MPA Day, where it came from. Some of you are already aware how it all started, but for those of you who aren't really don't really have that much information, I'll be doing a bit of background on MPA Day. Paul will go through some of the more communications aspects of the day and what is available to anybody who would like to get involved. And then Anton will go through what you can actually do on the day and how to practically get involved on the 1st of August. So I'm just going to start presenting here so that you can see our presentation. And the first thing that you'll see is that the title or the theme of MPA Day this year is the same as last year. So if you have been involved before, last year we had this theme, Ocean Protection Needs Human Connection. We loved it so much that we are going to continue with it this year. And so this is really what we strive for, is finding that connection of humans to the ocean and how we are needed to ultimately protect our seas and our oceans. But where did it all start? It started in South Africa. Some of you might recognize my accent. It's a very faint one, but I am half South African, so this is where the connection comes from. I used to live in Cape Town, and I used to work with one of the founders of MPA Day, Dr. Judy Van Lang. And so in 2019, it was a momentous year for South Africa specifically, as on the 1st of August 2019, 20 new MPAs were established in South Africa. And so because of this, the 1st of August was seen as a very important date. And when the decision was made that MPA Day or Marine Protected Areas Day should be established, the 1st of August was an obvious choice for those that created it in South Africa. What they also realized is that they didn't really understand how much people knew about MPAs. And so between 2019 and 2023, some research was done in South Africa specifically in 2 different aquariums, one based in Cape Town and one in Durban. And they asked people lots of questions about marine protected areas and what they actually knew about them and what they felt they should be doing, as in what is the role of an MPA. And overwhelmingly, not many people knew, firstly, what an MPA is or what it should do. And a lot of people had very negative connotations against MPAs, that they felt that it is all about, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. So it was a very interesting piece of research that they got out of it. And so then in 2021, after all of this research was done and they realized that there isn't that much information about MPAs, they then decided in 2021 to create the first MPA Day. So that happened, of course, on the back end of COVID. And so not much happened in that very first year in 2021. They did a virtual tour so that people from home could also be involved and really learn more about MPAs. They also had a photo competition that could be done online. So 2021 was a very soft launch, and really basic stuff was done just to create some more awareness. Then the following year in 2022, much more in-person events were starting to be organized, which included rocky shore explorations, a bio blitz where they encouraged people to go and take as many photos of different animals and species as they could. Lots of more online events as well, such as webinars and a Twitter chat, for example. More resources became available, and the initial website that was created for MPA Day was also established in 2022, as, along with its own YouTube channel. To emphasize, 2021, 2022, very much still South Africa only, so this was not being celebrated anywhere around the world yet. Then in 2023, Tanzania joins MPA Day. So this was the first time that a country outside of South Africa joined in the celebrations by doing an online event. So that was very exciting already then. Many more in-person activities started happening. One of the coastal towns in South Africa on the southern coast created an ocean festival. So they had multiple days worth of events that they were doing. Again, there was a live virtual event. Youth for MPAs joined the initiative, which is a South African organization for youth that support MPAs. And they, for example, did a film evening and a discussion following that. So there was a lot more activity already in 2023. Then 2024 was even bigger than before. And this is also when Europe joined for the first time, and when Paul and I joined the celebrations for the first time. And in Europe alone, we had Iceland, Finland, Sweden, and other countries that joined us. And lots of Mission Blue Hope spots also came on board. Mission Blue had been part of this already from the beginning, but mostly on a South African level. But now more Mission Blue Hope spots also joined, including some in the Philippines and Egypt and in Indonesia and Mauritius. So there were quite a few more on the map. So really it became a much more international event already in 2024. Then I'm going to show you a really lovely video, which, let's see if I can, hopefully there's sound, which really showcases 2025, last year. This was the biggest year we've ever had so far. And so you can have a look at this and hopefully get some inspiration from all the activities that took part. Can you hear it? Always have to wait for the whale at the end. All right, so there is a really nice representation of the different activities that happened all around the world. And as you can see, they really were quite varied. And one really cool one that stood out to me specifically was there was a town in Italy and a town in South Africa that decided to do a mural on the same day that would match kind of each other and have the same theme and on MPA Day specifically and really kind of highlight the day in these two very different parts of the world, which was a really nice collaboration. But if we have a look here on an overall kind of summary, so we had more than 103 events all around the world. You can see a really nice spread. Lots of activity, of course, in South Africa and Southern Africa. This is very much still a hub for MPA Day because of its origins there. But in Europe, a lot more activity, also in South America, in the Pacific Ocean. So you can see the spread is quite nice. There are definitely still a few areas that we would like to reach more, but we are working hard on that to get more regions involved in the day this year. But 39 countries are represented, which is an amazing feat, coming from 1 in 2021 to 39 in 2025 is a really nice leap. 125 different partners, 31 hope spots that are part of Mission Blue, 7 continents, and I know there isn't a dot in Antarctica, but somebody did share about MPA Day on social media representing Antarctica in one of the research stations. So they were definitely part of the day. And overall, 8 million reach on social media. So it was really a very momentous day for us last year. All right, then Europe specifically, I wanted to just show, sorry, I just need to click on a few things here. Europe specifically was a really lovely day as well. Lots more countries came on board. Germany, I must give a shout out to. They represented they had the most events out of all the countries. They did several along the Baltic Sea coastline that we were very excited about. And this included anything from a kind of seal watching tour to a museum evening in Stralsund. Then we had UK, Ireland, Iceland, Lithuania, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Norway, and Switzerland all joining the celebration. And this amazing video that I'm showing you that you maybe saw in the video previously as well is about a really cool initiative called Imagining Godzilla. And they are essentially a catamaran that goes around the Baltic Sea hosting artists. And they decided to do a radio broadcast from the boat this year live on MPA Day. So there's another really interesting activity that we hadn't had before that was introduced last year. The very big difference that we think made the most impact in 2025 was that we had a new website, which is a really beautifully designed website by Paul that you can go and have a look at if you haven't yet. And we also had a dedicated communications person, and this made all the difference. We had someone full-time from May to about September doing all of the communications for us and really making sure that on social media especially, we were well represented, bringing out really interesting content. We're sharing things that other people were doing because MPA Day is all about everyone's activities. It's not specifically us, the core committee, that are trying to kind of organize the global strategic things, but it's all about the on the ground activities that are being hosted on the day, and those are the ones that we find the most valuable. Then I have mentioned the core committee a few times, but this is essentially, these are the organizations that are being represented in the core committee. So one of the founding members was the Two Oceans Aquarium, which is based in Cape Town, as well as the Two Oceans Aquarium Foundation. Those are South African organizations. Mission Blue is the organization that represents all of the hope spots, which have been quite instrumental in really growing the reach. Then we have Protect Baltic and HELCOM, which is represented by Paul and I. Then we have Youth for MPAs, which is the organization in South Africa that is also represented by our Southern African youth representative. Her name's Asa. We have the Ocean Advocate, which is a communications kind of initiative, and Renee there is a very strategic thinker when it comes to kind of broader communications. We have Anton as a independent, so I don't have a logo for you, but he is our European representative for youth and young professionals in ECOP, as he mentioned. And then our newest representative in the middle there is the Marine Conservation Institute. And this is quite an exciting addition for us because it actually opens up our reach into North America. It is a region that we haven't really been able to get to before, and the Marine Conservation Institute, through their Blue Parks standard, will actually open those doors for us quite nicely, I think, and we'll be able to reach some new regions through that. Then, in terms of what we do as a core committee, we are sitting here with our responsibilities. Really, what we want to achieve is good communications around MPAs, the amplification of the information, positive information about MPAs, and the amplification of other people and other organizations who are distributing and writing about marine protected areas and their value. And then strategic thinking around who should we partner with next in order to have access to other regions in the world, and who are great organizations to partner with where we can really have some high impact. And then what this then leads to, and just to add, the youth involvement and the ECOP involvement is a newer thing that we have now added. And so Asa and Anton are in charge of kind of trying to get more youth and ECOP involvement into the MPA Day kind of core strategic responsibilities as well. But what we aim to do in the end is to get global actions going and global media and get their attention on what MPA Day is all about. Similarly, on a regional level, we want to have regional actions and media attention on MPA Day as well. And what all of that then feeds into are those local actions and local media that really on the day talk about MPA Day and talk about marine protected areas and the value that they bring. And the local actions are pretty much the ones that are on the ground, having a cleanup, doing a presentation at a school, doing a dive at an MPA for educational purposes. Things like that is what we mean by local actions. And those are usually the most impactful in the end when somebody gets to do hands-on activities linked to an MPA. Right, that's me. You are welcome to ask questions in between if you have them, but we will have time at the end also to answer those. So you can, your choice how you want to do it, but I'm going to hand over to Paul now so he can take over on some more resource and campaigns. Thanks. Paul, you need to unmute yourself.
Indeed, thank you. Just to start off with, MPA Day is a celebration of all the positive things about marine protection. And so we have tried to build communications with that message in mind along the way. So I'm going to talk through about some of the things that we have available for you if you want to get involved this year. We have launched recently a resources hub on the MPA Day website. Previously, we had a Trello board, but this hub is basically a one-stop shop of resources for you. It includes a foundation document, which tells you a little bit more about the origins and the background and the aims of MPA Day in general. We have brand guidelines and logos and fonts, so you can align your content with MPA Day style. We have a media toolkit so that you can make sure your messaging is on point. And then we have many graphics available that you can reuse, including things like save the dates in numerous backgrounds. So hopefully your region is represented. If it is not, you can let us know and we can, of course, work on that. But the idea is to try to bring in a more global perspective to the resources. There's also a lot of information and species themed content, which will hopefully inspire some ideas you may have about making online content for your own region or your own MPA. Last year, we ran a centralized campaign called Creative Waves, which was all about spotlighting art and art that was specifically inspired by the ocean and by marine protection. So we had a website campaign where we invited 15 artists to tell us more and to share their content about why the ocean inspires their art. And this campaign triggered a huge deluge of online content, with artists all over the world contributing to a massive social media campaign where they were able to spotlight their own work, tag MPA Day, and then it will be showcased in our feed. And the outreach on this was massive. So we're planning to continue this with a new campaign this year. We would like to add to the repertoire something with more written word this year. So things like stories, poems, even music. We're not placing limits on what we consider as art, as long as the piece is celebrating the ocean and marine protection in some way. But the idea behind this was to try to reach new audiences. And so we want to continue this campaign next year. We also last year ran a campaign through the app Strava called Run for MPA Day. And this also received quite a huge response. We had people posting their running tracks and videos and photos of themselves on their runs throughout the day. But this year we want to expand it. Since athletes enjoy nature a lot and advocate a lot for it, we're trying to expand it to other disciplines. So we're looking to engage with cyclists and also with surfers and also with divers more this year. So we will be expanding this Run for MPA Days campaign into a Move for MPAs, with specific hashtags for each of the different areas. Then to our own contributions from HELCOM from Protect in Europe. This one is a global initiative, so something that's going to be run throughout the whole world. So we've developed a map where people from around the world can tell us about their favorite ocean place. They can click on the map where they're from. They can click on a map to tell us an ocean place that they love. They can then tell us why they love it, and if they want to, they can upload an image. And it's also very kid-friendly, as they're able to choose a specific marker, which comes with its own sound effects, to place their favorite place on the map. So we would love people to share this and to raise awareness about this, so we can get as much response as possible on that. So that is what we were doing as a contribution to the global MPA Day campaign this year. In Europe specifically, so for all of the sea basins in Europe, we've launched a very simple and short survey where we ask respondents to tell us about what they value about the ocean and what they know about MPAs. We will be doing some social media outreach with this also, but the QR code is here, and we will share the presentation through the website at least, so you'll be able to access it from there as well. But again, help in expanding the outreach on this campaign would be really, really great in Europe this year. And then on a more local level, and I speak here to those of you, if there are of you from the Baltic Sea region specifically, we are creating a short video capturing short responses to what people love about the Baltic Sea. And the aim of this is to have a wide demographic of people answering the question, especially across like many different ages. So we would love to feature children up to 15 years old, youth and young adults up to 30 years old, adults above 30, and then even older retirees. And the person who is answering this question should either live at the Baltic Sea or have a connection to the sea. So maybe they visit during the holidays. We would prefer videos from people that don't specifically work in the environment or conservation field. But if people really want to feature in it, then we're all for it. Let's go for it. We're happy to accept videos also in people's native tongue, so it doesn't necessarily have to be in English. It can be in any of the Baltic Sea languages. So if you are from the Baltic area, please go and ask your neighbor or your granny or a friend who runs or partner what they love about the Baltic Sea and if they would be willing to contribute to this video. And so we are doing this specifically ourselves in the Baltic region, but this is also an idea that if you wanted to, you could take up for your own regions also and do your own what do I love about your sea area. And then last but not least from the campaigns, a little bit of a call out also. So with the growth of MPA Day being so exponential last year, what we wanted to do was, yes, it is a one-off occasion on the 1st of August, but we want to continue talking about marine protection throughout the year. And so what we did last year was start a Voices for MPA's article campaign. So every first day of each month, we are highlighting a specific MPA and particularly a person that works within that MPA to tell their story about why they love this MPA and what it means to them. We are looking for more marine protected areas to highlight for this series, and it's a really low threshold to get involved. Basically, you need to answer the 4 questions that you see on the slide. So give a few details about the MPA, tell us about species that are connected to the area, tell us a particular memory of the place that means something to you, and tell us one thing that you wish people would know about your MPA. And along with short answers to these responses, send us a portrait picture of yourself and some pictures of the area as well. And once we have this information, we are able to put you in the calendar so that we can produce these articles. And so in the last year, we have produced 1 each month, and 5 of them have been from the European region. And I think if I saw earlier, Patricia is here in the call, and she was our last to feature at the start of May. So thank you, Patricia, for providing answers to that. But we are looking for more. So if you know somebody who is passionate about a specific marine protected area, or if you want to get involved yourself, you can definitely do this. Okay, so that is enough from me, and I will pass over to Anton, who will tell you a little bit more about how you can get involved.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, you saw some lovely examples already from parts of from participation of the last years of MPA Days, and I just want to give a little bit of a structured overview again of how to participate and what forms are possible. Generally, we want to keep the barriers to participation as low as possible, which means, yeah, many different sorts of activities are an option for you. So let's see if this works. Yes. Okay. So as I just said, from a very low threshold online content up to in-person, full in-person events, everything is possible, and there's no limit for creativity. Just going through a few examples for each of these elements. So online content, very straightforward. It is already possible to participate, get involved with the MPA Day by a single social media post about the MPA Day, about something close to your heart that is connected to marine protected areas or marine conservation, your own work. Yeah, so this is very much a low threshold entrance to getting involved for the MPA Day. Then staying online, also online events are of course an option. There's 2 examples here from last year with 2 webinars. So organize your own webinar. Just use the 1st of August, the MPA Day, as the occasion basically to set up your own online event. Partnerships are of course also an option. There are already quite a number of European partners we have with the MPA Day, but of course that is always an option for your organization to get into a partnership with the MPA Day. And lastly, yeah, the in-person event, probably the one that demands the most work, but maybe also most fun for a lot of people to actually enjoy the nature. So these are of course a great option to get involved. Just a few examples from last year as well. So it can be anything from a seagrass snorkeling trip like it happened in Ireland, a sailing trip on a historic sailing yacht on the Greifswalder Bodden in Germany, or even like a citizen science participatory field event of invasive species monitoring in southern Spain. Yeah, so just a few examples for inspiration how it could look like, and yeah, this was it already from our side. So yeah, please feel free to connect with us through all these channels, and thanks for listening. And this will be the room for questions and further discussions. Thank you.
Thanks, Anton. So yes, if you have any questions, please, now is the time. We're happy to answer them. One thing I want to say is the world is your oyster when it comes to an event. whatever feels right for you and your area. If you are more of an organization on the ground, be creative. We had kayaking, we had like a kayaking tour around a certain protected area. We've had hikes, we've had, as I said, museum evenings. So it really can be whatever you feel is manageable on the day. But yeah, questions. Are there any? Were we so clear that you don't have any? That's also fine. But we're happy to answer any at the moment. We still have a little bit of time.
I can maybe just say as well before, if anyone does have questions. So we will, in the coming weeks, month or so before MPA Day starts at least, be making available access to a form where you can fill in the details about what kind of events you are planning to do. And if you would like to partner for MPA Day, to send logos and things like this, so that your event can be hosted, for instance, on a map. And Mission Blue, our partners there, are building this map as we speak, hopefully. So it should be available fairly soon. Natasha, I see a hand raised. Go ahead.
Hi, Paul. Thank you. Just a quick question about the European survey. Is there a deadline that if we promote it that we should include, or is this like an ongoing thing?
So I think that we have decided that it will probably end the last day of June, but we are opening it already now. So promotion between now and then, and we get as much response as possible. Sorry, did I say end of June? Did I mean end of June or end of July? Yes, end of June. Because end of July is the day before MPA Day, indeed. So end of June, because then we'll have a little bit of time to do actually an analysis. And then the idea would be that we will produce some content, maybe an article which tells a little bit more about what the findings from the survey would actually be. So for now, the date would be the last day of June, yes. But we can send more information once we have the social media campaign for MPA Day pushing this to you. So.
And then also just to add, we will add this presentation to the website, but we will perhaps also just send it to all of you that have attended so that you have the QR codes and things like that ready in the presentation. So that will be easy. And please get in touch with us if you have any questions. We're happy to answer. All three of us are here to represent the kind of European activities and be happy to assist with anything. If you have trouble coming up with an activity, we can also help with that. But happy to see you all here. It's been really nice to see lots of new faces, which means that it'll be even bigger this year in Europe, especially. So that's really, really nice to see. But I think if there aren't any more questions, then we can close off here. And hopefully we'll see lots of you in the coming months online, kind of promoting MPA Day. We will start soon on MPA Day socials to be more active as well again. So please, if you are on social media and follow MPA Day, or don't follow yet, but please go ahead and do follow our social media. So start sharing the content that is coming also from those channels, so that we can really get some more reach this year and grow the movement. But thank you and have a lovely afternoon, everyone, and hopefully chat to you soon. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.